What is going on YouTube? Robo Sushi here, bringing you guys another finals match from the Steel Fox locals that I played at recently. Sorry if my voice sounds a little down, a little under the weather recently, so if there's a few snifflings or rough voice going on, apologies in advance. But anyway, we'll get into the gameplay. On the left is one of the guys is playing Lilith loop, and then on the right is a Jesmon player. Both of these decks are very interesting. This is kind of a weird matchup for the Lilith loop player because while yeah you can set up pretty quickly, if you also don't run into your pieces fast enough and Jesmon does happen to find the best stack, then you're just in trouble right from the get-go. But we'll see how the matches go. So just to get caught up, it looks like kind of bricked on a rookie for the Lilith loop player, so they had to hard play the Kinkaku and then Digivolve into Rebelli on the following turn. Discarding, doesn't look like he discarded to give it the effect, so Rebelli doesn't have blocker retaliation. On the Jesmon player side, you see we have Huckmon on the field that searched earlier, and then we have a pretty good stack down in the back with the Greymon as the champion. Always good to have it. And then there you see she plays the red memory boost, finding the savior Huckmon. So we got the pretty good Jesmon stack coming up in raising pretty soon. There, the Lilith player just decides we're just going to get Lilithmon out. We're going to try to set up a loop as soon as possible. You can see the Takumi in hand and the Mega Digimon Fusion. So if they pass over a decent amount of memory, there's a good chance that we just see an early game loop, or an early game Zwart come out, even if we don't actually loop. And then here, the Jesmon player go ahead and evolve into the savior that we know we had in raising, and then play a tie, passing them over at 4. So now we have a savior out in the back, threatening possibly lethal the next turn with the savior, or with the Jesmon that may come out. And here, exactly what happens, they go ahead, they play the Jack Raid, putting themselves up, and then playing a Takumi to go into Mega Digimon Fusion, effectively making it free, still leaving them at 3, and then they just go into the Zwart. We go in and then play out the Ginkakumon promote and the Lady Heavymon. So we do have another target to go into another Lilithmon, and that is exactly what is going to happen here. They're going to go ahead, Digivolve the Lady Devimon into a second copy of Lilithmon that they had in their hand. I believe at the start of the game they had like 1 or 2 Liliths and 2 Zwarts in hand, so it was kind of rough. So here we go ahead and play the Jack Raid, gain the 2 memory, only gaining the 2 off of Lilithmon's effect because we do not have the rest of, we don't have 10 cards in trash, so we can't get it in memory off the Jack Raid. They just go ahead, swing in with the Zwart, bringing back the Lilith, and then swing in with the promote, which does live. Here he is kind of thinking about what he's going to do. Looks like he missed Takumi effect at some point. Oh, nope, there he gets it right there. Goes ahead and just evos into the Zwart at, I think, probably maybe looking for a blocker. I don't know if this list runs any blockers, so that could be kind of unfortunate. And brings out the promote, doesn't have the full stack, so he can't gain the memory. And then decides to just go ahead and bring out a Rebellion, make a little bit of a big board state. On the off chance that she does not have the Jesmon, then they can maybe swing for game with just kind of a big board state the following turn. So passing over to the Jesmon side, look in her hand and you can see there she does reveal she does have the Jesmon going to 1. Now if she has any Sistermons in hand, this Jesmon is swinging for 3 checks. And I can't really see what's in her hand at this point, but 3 checks at security, and if she has a Sistermon, then she has another check, and then it's just something as simple as an Agunimon or a Blitz Omni for game. And then here we will see she's thinking about what she's going to attack over, because it will gain piercing. She does have the CL in hand, so we will pierce through the promote, hitting 3 security checks. So now they're only at 1 security. She's got 2 memory right there. She does have access to a Agunimon or Omni for game. Swings again, goes into, lives the check, and then does go into the Blitz Omni for game. So definitely you can see the power of Savior Huckmon and why it might be getting hit on, or why it got hit on the list. You high roll 1 time, and then all of a sudden, even though your opponent makes an oppressive board state, you just have all the answers to the way to deal with the board state, and then bring in and swing for all of your opponent's security in one go. So on to game 2. Opponent here, the Lilith loop player decides to go second, which is not very surprising. Most of the time you want to go second so you can maybe set up your board a little bit. This time we're a little bit better on rookies. We do have the Gabumon into the promote into a second promote, passing her over to 1. Good promote that can just evo on top of champion, so it gets a little bit extra draw, and then passing the turn over to 1. That way, no matter what they do, they have to give you at least a decent amount of memory. And here they decide to play the Huckmon, finding more pieces. Looks like they're still, the Lilith blue player is still maybe missing a level 5, so then they go into another promote. We got a tall boy stack with 3 promotes underneath. Probably all the promotes. There may be one more in the list, I can't remember. And then go into the Rebellimon, discarding the Ginkakumon to give it blocker and retaliation to hope to stop those little baby checks early on. So here the Jesmon player will decide to just go ahead and play the tie, passing him over to 2 memory, leaving him as little memory as possible. It's a good memory choke tactic, especially when you know you're playing against Lilith Loop, because you don't want to give them too much memory. So passing them over to 2, there's not much they can do. They do whiff on the rookie and just hard evo into the Lilithmon. Probably won't be able to take out the Lilithmon this turn, so it's kind of safe. And then passing turn over, where they'll just go ahead and swing in with the Huckmon, dies to a Lilithmon in security. That little extra chip damage can always matter depending on if you have full combo with the Jesmon, and then plays another Huckmon here, grabbing the Savior and the Seal. So we know at this point that the Jesmon player does have pretty much full combo in hand, other than maybe an Omnimon or an Agunimon for game. And they picked up the Savior, and we had the Jesmon from the previous one. So this will pass turn over to, then they'll go ahead and play the Delicate Plan, passing turn over to 1. Keeping them as little memory as possible, and then the Loop player will just decide to go ahead and use the Jack Raid to go up to 3 off of Lilithmon's effect, because they do not have 10 in trash, to just go into the Zort. They're already going to go to 3 anyway, so instead of using any Mega Digimon Fusion shenanigans, they just hard evo into the Zort. It's kind of good to have the body on field. You see they play out the Lady Devimon and the Ginkakumon. So here the Jesmon player decides that they're going to go ahead and evolve into the Savior Huckmon and Raising. We already know that there's a Jesmon in hand, so there's kind of a scary stack coming out the way. And then they swing in with the Huckmon, which does end up getting a Jack Ray, passing turn over to 2, which isn't really the best. They probably were hoping to maybe get to a Jesmon that turn, but at this point, they get the chip damage off with the Huckmon, and now they have to answer, the opponent has to answer the Huckmon as well, which they should easily be able to do with the board state that they have. This time the Loop player does not whiff on the rookie. They have, I believe that's a Devimon, the Store Championship one. Sorry about the glare there. And then they swing in to security with the Zort. This time activating the effect to add the Lilithmon back to hand, drawing and discarding off of the Gabumon, and then drawing off of the Sunamon. So here you can see that they have the Jack Raid in hand, but I'm pretty sure they don't have 10 cards in trash at this point. So they're kind of deciding how they're going to do this. They decide to swing over the Huckmon with the Ginkakumon just to get that out the way. Those little extra checks can really matter. So if they leave it on the field without destroying it, then it could end up being a game, especially with a Jesmon that they know is in hand coming out swinging for 3 checks. Here the Blue players trying to decide what to do. See them going back. They decide to go ahead, go into the Takumi for 0, and then evolving into the Lilithmon, activating the effects Takumi to cycle a little bit more, passing them over to 3. So here's the scary part for the Jesmon player, or the Lilith Loop player. They do know that a Jesmon could come out right here. They do know they have the Jess in hand, they'd have the Seal in hand, and Jesmon is swinging in for 2 checks. So this is the part where if they have it, they have it. You can't really do much about it. And they decide, they're thinking about who they're going to swing at, I believe. If they're going to swing at security, if they're going to swing at a Digimon, they swing at the Ginkakumon with piercing with the effect of Seal, gaining the memory, restanding with the Huckmon ability, and now trying to decide what they want to do. If you can see the hand, it doesn't look like they have the Omnimon in hand. Use the Delicate Plan just in case maybe a Jack Raid comes out of security, or maybe any removal spells that she doesn't know about. Don't know if she's played against this deck very often. But she just hard plays the Monodramon. Looks like she does not have the Omnimon or the Agunimon for game, although she wouldn't have been able to play the Agunimon, I don't believe. So here, counts trash. Looks like he does have 10 in trash, so he plays the Jack Raid to go up 2 and then gain 1 off of the Jack Raid ability, 2 off of the Lilithmon ability. Lady Devimon effect procs to delete the Monodramon. And then here, yes, I think they did play, no, they went ahead, got up to 6 with all the memory gain from the Jack Raid, and then just hard evoed into the Zwart. So now we have 2 Zwarts that are not going to go away from something like Mega Digimon Fusion. And here they're trying to decide what they want to bring back. Decide to bring back the Rebellionmon. Again, doesn't look like they have any blockers, doesn't look like they have any other full combo, and then gets the Gabumon just to have another small body on field. With that one, they will go ahead, swing over the Jesmon, deal with it, and then pop the seal with effect, and then add the Lilithmon back to hand. Here they will swing at security with the other Zwart. I believe now they're going to realize they have the effects to activate, so they will activate Gabumon to draw 1, discard 1, and the effect of Tsunomon to draw a card off of when you discard. And there is 2 Tsunomons on the field, one is also under the Devimon, so they will get 2 draws off of that. Here they decided to swing in with the Devimon. There is the Omnimon that she wanted last turn. The Devimon will die. And then I think they were thinking about swinging, but then they realized they had just played it out, so they wouldn't be able to. Here the Jesmon, or the Lilith player, is kind of in a predicament. If they have the Agunimon, then they just lose, and I'm pretty sure he knows that at this point. But again, what are you going to do if they just have it? They have it. There's nothing you can do. He does not have any blockers. He had no way to get the Rebellionmon with blocker. You do have to Digivolve to get the blocker in retaliation with the Rebellionmon. So passes turn over, leaves him at 3, gets the Lilithmon out, does get more Jack Raids back to hand, so he does have the potential to loop again. And here Digivolves, Jesmon player Digivolves the Guilmon, and then Digivolves the Greymon. At this point, there's no way they can pass the memory over, or they can have enough to get a Gunimon, even if they do have it, unless they run something like Gravity Crush, and then just Digivolve into the Savior to set up, just in case security saves her. And then here he just decides Hatch, go ahead and swing in, and that will finish game 2. Was able to get enough board presence, and the Jesmon player just didn't have the combo right when they needed it, so just keep them. So they will drop a game there. And now on to game 3. It looks like here the Lilith player is going to go first. Jesmon decides to go second. Really smart idea. This is definitely a going second meta from everything I've seen. They decide to just play the Takumi. Looks like that's all they really have in hand. Kind of a bricky hand, just some level 5s, level 4s, and maybe a Lilithmon there in the back of the hand. Passing it over to their opponent with 2 as little memory as they possibly could. Looks like they do have another Takumi in hand. Here's the Jesmon player, Digivolves into the Guilmon, Digivolves into the Balhuckmon, and then plays a red memory boost, revealing 4 off the top of the deck. Looks like here they decide to take the Savior Huckmon. So really it's probably going to be most of the thing that you would take all the time as a Savior. Although it's nice for the Lilith player not to see the Agunimon, just in case they do set up a tamer, they don't have to worry about that pesky Agunimon for game at least. But here they will go ahead, pass them over to 3, and then they will play the Kakumon, passing them back over to 3, just trying to give as little memory as possible. Don't want to go all the way up into a Jesmon and memory choke them. And then here the Jesmon player does go into the Savior and then plays the Tai, leaves him over at 4. And the Luke player does finally get a rookie here. They go into the Gabumon and then just Digivolve into the Lady Devimon, get a little bit of cycle, fill up the trash a little bit more. And then here they're trying to decide what they're going to do. Looks like they're just going to go ahead. Best play they really have. They don't have any great plays, but they decided to Digivolve into the Lilithmon, drawing off the Takumi, passing them over at 3. They're going to go to 3 anyway. So here you're just kind of hoping that they don't have everything, which if they have Blade of the Judgment, then you're just kind of screwed anyway. They do decide to raise and Digivolve into the Jesmon. This Jesmon will be swinging for 2 checks when it does swing, because you do have the Tai on field with the extra security attack. They decide to pop the red memory boost. It looks like they don't want to risk swinging into a Jack Raid right away before they can play the seal in hand to guarantee that they can play that delicate plan. So here since they don't have to worry about that, they do decide to just go ahead and play the Blanc first, have a blocker up on board just in case, and restanding off of the Jesmon. And then they swing again, play the seal, going up to 3. They do hit another memory boost and another rookie. At that point, on the extra 2 swings, it is kind of impossible to kill the Jesmon after the seal's on board, because it is swinging at 16k. I don't think anything in security stops it. Kind of dangerous swinging in and not playing the seal first, because then you risk, if you do hit something like a 15k, since he wasn't attacking through a Digimon, then it might have been able to die to a Zwart insecurity, but did get a little lucky there. Kind of an out of sequence thing, kind of would have done it a different way, but worked out in the end, so who am I? Anyway, so this is where they're kind of decide what they're going to do. I think at one point you can see they do have the Blitz Omni in hand, which I feel like may have been a little bit of a better option. That way you choke them at 1 for as little memory as possible. But here they do decide they have 3 memory. They'll play the Huckmon and do a little bit of search, grab a Jesmon, grab a Savior, tuck the rest to the bottom, and then here is where they decide what they want to do. Looking what they have in hand, they do have the Blitz Omni in hand, and they do decide to go into it here. It's not really the worst play, but again, I would have just done that straight away off the bat. That way you would have choked him at 1 memory. Here, if they do have a Jack Ray, so they can go up to 6, even though they don't have 10 in trash because of the Lady Debbie or the Lilithmon effect. Going up to 6, if they had a Zwart, then that could pose very dangerous, because then they can go ahead and swing over and take out something. But off of the Jack Ray effect, they will pop the block, so now they no longer have a blocker. So here he's just kind of digging for a Zwart, can't seem to find one, plays a Labramon to cycle a little bit more, doesn't find it even with the Underworld Call discard extra draw, plays another Labramon trying to cycle, looking for the Mega Digimon Fusion, can't seem to find it. Pop the purple memory boost, go to 2. She moves it up to 3 there because it was kind of in the middle, but he is in fact at 2. He will notice it here in a little bit when he digivolves right here into the Ginkakumon, putting them at 0. Tapping to Kumi, trying to draw a little bit more, still not seeing anything. No MDF, no Zwart, no nothing here. They decide to go ahead and see if they can dig a little bit more with the Lady Devimon, just to see if they would have ever gotten there. Still not seeing it. Pass the turn over, and then the Jesmon player will just go ahead and swing for game. And that will be it for the set. So Jesmon does get it 2-1. The Lilith Loop player did try their best. You saw in game 1 they even tried to loop as early as turn like 2 or 3, and then in game 2 they were able to get there. You know, it's kind of a rough matchup if you don't get your pieces fast enough. Then against something like Jesmon, that if it does get its pieces, you're just kind of SOL in my opinion, and it's hard to come back from. So that'll be it for the match today, guys. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We'll be having more gameplay videos. This will be, I think I have one more video that is EX before EX collection drops, and then we'll have a bunch of EX videos coming out. Again, sorry about the voice, a little under the weather. We'll try to get it back in a little bit, but I might be like this for the next few videos. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, have a great one.